Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what we're doing today?
Well, today's Saturday, which usually means that we're doing
Q&A Saturday.
That's right. And what are we Qing and Aing today?
We are going over Isaiah chapters 44, 45, 46, and 47. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about a couple of gods.
Oh, is it our Disney friends?
Bel and Nebo.
Nabu. I thought it was Nebu.
It's both.
Okay. All right.
It's not Nemo.
So, summaries and gods.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready to do this?
I am.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie. All right. So we're doing our Q&A.
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah.
And let's start with Isaiah chapter 44.
Okay. Yep.
That chapter was basically turn to God, and also God went over the folly of making idols.
Yes, he did.
And the process of making them.
Right.
And that was when you were like, I'll burn wood.
Yeah.
In my little wood burner.
Right.
Yeah. And that happened.
So idols bad still.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Right.
And then also it was the first mention of Cyrus by name as the one who will deliver, as a prophecy.
Sure.
The one who will deliver Israel from Babylon.
Which I think it's really just awkwardly weird.
Yeah.
Because it makes it obvious
Mm-hmm.
that this is a try-hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you don't have to think that hard about what's going on here to know that this wasn't a fucking prophecy.
But Christians really hard believe it.
Yeah, but that's because they drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
true.
It's I don't have any other words other than that. But
No,
it's just, to me, it's glaringly obvious that this is a try-hard. They're trying way too hard to make this a prophecy.
Completely agree.
So, that's all.
So then we move on to the next chapter, Isaiah 45.
Yep.
And that's when God specifically commissions Cyrus.
Okay.
And then he created everything. God did, because you know how it be.
Yeah. Or he told us how he did that, right?
Yeah.
Because he likes to tell us over and over again.
Exactly. And then he talks about how the Egyptian, Ethiopian, and Sabian peoples were conquered by Cyrus. And what are their names? The Israelites are going to see some of those treasures trickle down. But the problem is that Babylon is going to be defeated by Cyrus.
Got it.
Who will then set the Israelites free.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, why? I don't understand. I don't remember them having treasures trickle down from those countries or whatever. I don't think that's spelled out.
No, it's just part of like the prophecy. Something that he says in verse 14, he's talking about the fact that they paid homage to distant nations, and then those nations were named.
Got it.
And that they received treasures.
I mean, basically what I hear throughout the Bible is, you guys suck real hard and I'm going to ruin you. And then, oh, I love you guys. Here's some stuff, but also you're worms. Right. Is that pretty much the gist of it?
Yeah, it's that borderline personality disorder book entitled I Hate You, Don't Leave Me.
Right. Yeah.
And then we hear more about Babylon's idols, and don't forget to look to the Lord for salvation.
Sure.
So then we get to Isaiah chapter 46, and that's where we hear about those two false gods.
Bel and Nebo?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll talk about them in a minute. I just want to get through these chapters.
Sure.
But yeah, that's where we hear about those gods.
Yeah.
Okay. And the people are carrying away their false gods on carriages. Mm-hmm. And so God's like, those poor animals, that sucks. Real gods don't have to be carried.
Right.
And it's like,
but we did carry you.
We carried your fucking house.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Across the goddamn desert. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. And then he goes on to say that the Lord knows the beginning and the end, and he's, the great I am that was here before and after and all that.
Right.
Okay. And then chapter 47 was the chapter that we referred to as fuck Babylon, Babylonians are fucked.
Right.
And that happened.
They were.
Yeah. So I don't even need to.
I mean, most of it was some of the wording was confusing somewhat, but once we figured out what the basic messages were, it was not there's not a lot to these chapters.
No, not at all.
It was just you had to get past the poetry of the words.
Yeah,
whatever.
You have to just understand the overall message.
And it's very simple.
Yeah.
God made everything and he's really proud of it. He doesn't want you to make idols and shit. He's going to kill some people because they suck, apparently, at this point. Mm-hmm. And he's going to use some guy that doesn't believe in him to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Mm-hmm. So there's that. Okay. So now let's go into our fun gods. This is the fun part.
Okay.
To me.
Yeah.
So Bel and Nebo were mentioned in Isaiah chapter 46. It says, Bel bows down, Nebo stoops low. Their idols are borne by beasts of burden.
Right.
That's a lot of alliteration.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting at the time that they even mentioned other gods.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen a lot. Like Molech was mentioned at some point. And, there's been a couple of instances maybe.
Right.
But this was a weird one-off right in the middle of this.
Yeah, it was very strange that he's like, stop!
Yeah.
So that's because these two gods were actually being very much celebrated and worshipped at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. So Bel and Nebo were names of two false gods that the idol-worshipping nations served. They are the names of the pagan gods who might be familiar to us because Belshazzar contains Bel, and Nebuchadnezzar has the Nebo.
Okay.
Nebo, Nabu.
Okay.
And Nebo and Nabu are synonymous. They're interchangeable. It just depends on which culture of the Mesopotamian area says it.
Sure.
So that's why I say one versus the other.
I gotcha.
Okay, it just depends on whichever one comes to my head first.
Right.
Okay, but let's talk about Bel first. Okay.
Yeah.
Bel, Bel. Okay. Yeah. As opposed to E-L.
With 2 L's?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying Bel, B-E-L, as opposed to L-E-L.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like God, L.
Right.
Like Yahweh, L.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The similarity just, continues to annoy and astound. Yeah. So B-E-L is a title signifying Lord or Master, much like L was.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was applied to various gods in the Mesopotamian religion of Akkad, Assyria, and Babylon. Okay. The female form is Belit or Belit, B-E-L-I-T.
Okay.
In Akkadian. Okay. And it means lady or mistress. Got it. Okay. So these are titles less than they are specific names. Okay. Okay. Like doctor instead of, Mr. Smith.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bel is represented in Greek as Belos and in Latin as Belus or Belus. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And Belit, I don't know, the chick, appears in Greek form as Beltis. Okay. Okay. Now, linguistically, Bel is an East Semitic form cognate with the Southwest Semitic Baal of the same meaning.
Say that. Can you give me layman's term?
Yeah,
on that?
I'll give you the layman's term.
All right.
Bel and Baal as titles come from the same fucking place.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's what that means.
That makes sense.
Okay. So
and Baal, there's the god Baal, and then there's Baal, who is like the master
or
whatever.
Just lowercase g. I'm talking about gods.
Sure. Right.
Okay. So Bel was especially used for the Babylonian god Marduk. Okay. Whom we've heard a little bit about. Yeah. And we're going to talk about him in a different Q&A because we've heard just enough about him now that I want to know more. Okay. Mm-hmm. But Bel was used for the Babylonian god Marduk in Assyrian and Neo-Babylonian personal names or mentioned in inscriptions in a Mesopotamian context. Okay. Okay. So those two names can be interchangeable. Like Bel could be the title of Marduk, or Bel can be much like Baal or Baal. Yeah. Bel can be a separate god. Okay. Okay. All right. So similarly, Belit, his chick, his side piece, right, mostly refers to Marduk's spouse, Sarpanit.
Oh, okay. It's a cool name.
Mm-hmm. So Marduk's mother, the Sumerian goddess, often referred to in the Sumerian language as Ninhursag, Damkina, and Ninmah, was often known as Belit Ili, which means Lady of the Gods in Akkadian. Okay. Okay? Yep. So we've got Marduk or Bel. We've got his wife, Belit, or, whatever. And then we've got Marduk's mom. Okay. Okay? Yep. In Mandean cosmology, which that's just another form, like the Gnostics. It's just another over there kind of faith or lack thereof kind of thing. Got it. The name for Jupiter is Bil, B-I-L, which is derived from the name Bel. Oh, okay. So basically what I'm saying is that there's just all these different guys over there and they're all about the same thing. Sure. Okay.
One, if you ask me, and again, I'm basing this just on the little knowledge that I have, but with the reference to L and Bel, it sounds like a lot of these stories originated from the same things.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Essentially.
Yes, they did.
They went different directions, obviously.
It's the game of telephone, but with gods. Right. And god titles and god names and offices of gods. And
that's how we end up with so many reoccurring stories throughout different cultures and different religions, is that they are essentially the same thing, just told in different cultures and different areas.
Passed down over the ages. Right. They're bound to change, much the way a guy who fishes brings home a fish this big, but then by the time 50 years have passed, it was that big. Right. So, though often identified with Greek Zeus and Latin Jupiter as Zeus Belos or Jupiter Belus.
Huh.
In other cases, Belus is interpreted as an ancient king who founded Babylon and built the ziggurat.
I've heard of the ziggurat before.
Yeah, I've told you about the ziggurat is basically a huge kind of pyramid.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Like an early. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he is recognized and worshipped as the god of war.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So Artabanus, who was an early Greek historian, is cited as stating in his Jewish history that he found an anonymous work that giants who had been dwelling in Babylonia were destroyed by the gods for impiety, meaning they were misbehaving.
Yeah.
But one of them, named Belus,
right,
escaped and settled in Babylon and lived in the tower which he built and named the Tower of Belus.
Is that the Tower of Babylon?
Who knows?
Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
I'm asking this because I heard, I don't know if it was you and I talking about something or if I heard this separately somewhere, but I've heard people refer to Nimrod as some sort of a demon god type thing almost.
That sounds familiar.
And
I think we talked about that.
And that has something to do with the Tower of Babel also.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, I guess I'm asking this, like, we won't get to the bottom of this today, but there are so many stories that sound so similar.
Well, and think about this. This one giant escaped.
Right.
Much like the giant that caught a ride on Noah's Ark.
Right.
You know?
Which then also made an appearance in the Bible when they were fighting in, Israel.
Yeah. So who knows, right?
Right. Yeah.
So an early text by Abydanus, his book was called Concerning the Assyrians, which very early text.
Okay. Yep.
Like way back. States that the site of Babylon was originally water and called a sea, but Belus put an end to this and assigned a district to each and surrounded Babylon with a wall, and at the appointed time he disappeared. Okay, so that was all like in quotes.
Okay,
from that book.
All right.
This seems to be a rationalized version of the god Marduk's defeat of the Mesopotamian goddess of the sea, Tiamat, whom I've talked about before because I love her.
Right.
Followed here by Belus becoming a god.
Okay. Yeah.
And a little earlier in that same section, in a supposed prophecy by King Nebuchadnezzar claims to be descended from Belus.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about, speaking of Nebud, let's talk about Nabu.
Okay. Sure.
So Nabu is the ancient Mesopotamian patron god of literacy, the rational arts, scribes, and wisdom. He was also the inventor of writing, a divine scribe, and a god of vegetation. So he dabbled in a little bit of everything.
Sure, yeah.
He's the son of Marduk and Sarpenetum.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And those were the two big ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we've got Marduk's son, or Bel's son.
Yeah, which is Nebo, Nebuchadnezzar, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nabu wore a horned cap and stood with his hands clasped in the ancient gesture of priesthood. He rode on a winged dragon known as Cyrus.
That's really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
That originally belonged to his father Marduk. In Babylonian astrology, Nabu was identified with the planet Mercury.
My dad never passes down a dragon I can ride.
Why
don't I get a dragon?
I would like to put in a complaint.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get one either. I didn't get one because I'm a girl. I don't know why you didn't get one.
Right?
You're also the oldest son.
Yeah, I should totally get a dragon.
You should call your dad tomorrow and ask,
where the fuck's my dragon, man?
Yeah. Like, do I have to reach a certain age? I'm old. Can I have it now? So in Hellenistic times, meaning Greek, Nabu was sometimes identified with the Greek Apollo as a giver of prophecies.
Okay.
Because, he's, the guy of writing, the god of writing and stuff.
Right.
So
right.
prophecies is very similar.
Yeah.
Okay. As the god of wisdom and a divine messenger, Nabu was linked with the Greek god Hermes, the Roman god Mercury, and the Egyptian god Thoth. Okay.
Okay.
The Akkadian Nabu means announcer or authorized person, and the Hebrew Navi, and all of those mean prophet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was very cool.
It's interesting how this all translates. So like it goes from like your Babylonian areas, and then it translates in all these other Mesopotamian areas to then being like part of the Greeks and part of like this.
Yeah.
It's the part that amazes me about all this, these works, these gods, these things, is that they're all so interconnected, and yet no one really talks about that in modern day religion. Like it's not, it's all there to be found out, but why aren't we asking these questions? Why aren't we talking about these things? Why aren't they part of the narrative?
Like you and I had to do a Q&A 3 years into our podcast to read about these gods, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and how they're like, oh, by the way, this guy's also sometimes Hermes.
Right.
Like, we've heard of Hermes. He was the Greek god with the fucking wings on his feet,
Sure. And here's the thing. We all know, like I would assume that most of the people, most of our fans, most of you out there have heard or know that, all the stories that happen in the Bible are based on older stories, are based on, like it's all regurgitated, stories, legends and myths and stuff, right? But it's something that never gets discussed, even though there are very direct, links to these other gods, to these other stories, to these other things. And I feel like if you're gonna be so immersed in a religion, you would want to know and talk about these relationships to these other gods, to these other things, because it is something to, like, it informs
your God,
right? And I couldn't imagine not being curious about it, like saying, "Oh no, I'm only going to accept exactly how somebody else told me to relate this information to my religion."
Exactly.
I'm not going to dig any further, even though there's names of gods, even though there's stories that are from other gods, even though there's all these other things that point to outside of my religion. I'm never going to look into it. I'm never going to dig deeper than the surface.
I guess that's what gets me, because I'm interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in writing. And so I spend a lot of my time, because I'm interested in writing, I read a lot of writing guides, some of them that, contradict each other in advice, or memoirs about writers, from writers.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of writing YouTube videos, and I listen to podcasts about writing. So I'm exploring my interest that that informs who I am as a person, right? Like I am a writer. I love writing. And so I research writing all the time. Why is it that you have Christians, this is who they are, but they're not curious about anything about it?
Yeah, it's like
I don't get it.
It's like the parents who don't like their kids' music because they just stopped with their music, right?
Yeah.
They don't care anymore. They're like, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to have.
Only the 60s,
That's
the
it.
end.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
No, actually, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and today have some pretty good fucking music.
Right. And honestly, like, for our listeners out there, I don't think that they should stop with what we're telling them, because we're digging very surface into these things. Oh,
very surface.
And, we're mostly trying to give you a
place to start.
A place to start, and just ideas to take and run with, because I'm sure to this day, to right now, even in this episode, we probably got some things slightly wrong.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure. At the very least. So
God bless the internet, but also God curse the internet.
Right. Yeah. There's always somebody out there that knows way more than we know about subjects.
Yeah.
But it's the process of being curious about these things that matters to me. And I hope that that's what matters to a lot of our listeners, because
Same.
I think you should always keep learning. I think you should always ask questions. And that's what the whole impetus for our podcast was, is to just ask questions. Like, we wanted to know more. Right. And so here we are. We're learning more, and it's really, really fucking cool.
I think so,
especially
too.
when we dig into these other gods and things. Like,
those are my favorite parts, because it just further brings home the fact that the one book that we're reading is just not the end-all be-all.
Right. And
it's not even the beginning.
I would have never thought this at the beginning of this whole journey that we've been on, but I want to continue learning about how all these things intermingle and how they all relate to history. Like, there's so much. It's so rich in so many different stories and cultures that I want to continue to learn. I want to learn more about it. It
makes me want to keep going further and further back and be like, what was the beginning initial source of all of these stories?
Right. Not because I believe in God.
No.
Not because I want to know more about a God that I don't believe in, but because I'm curious where these human stories, where these myths started from, where they came from, why they are.
I'm curious about the people, not the gods. Yeah. I'm curious about the people and their beliefs in the gods.
It's just an interesting story. It's an interesting way to look at that historical period in time.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So this is fun.
Yeah.
So, anyway, going back to Nabu, he was worshipped by the Babylonians and the Assyrians.
Okay.
He gained prominence among the Babylonians in the first millennium BC when he was identified as the son of the god Marduk.
Okay. Yeah.
Nabu's symbols include a stylus resting on a tablet, as well as a simple wedge shape. And the image of that, King Nabonidus, hold on. Yeah, that's a Nebo. Hold on, let me try this again. Nabonidus. Yeah. Okay. You know how I have dyslexia, right?
Yes.
I get my B's and my D's mixed up. And when there's more than one of them in the same word, I have to try really hard.
Got it.
So that's what happened just then. I was like, are you a B or a D?
Right.
Yeah. So Nabonidus.
Right. Like tendonitis, but Nabonidus.
Exactly. He placed the image of that wedge shape atop his royal scepter.
Huh. Okay.
So that, he could be like related close to the god,
Got it. Yeah.
So Nabu was continuously worshipped until the 2nd century when cuneiform became a lost art.
Huh.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. So it was basically their written language lost favor, and so
the god of writing.
Died.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to me that he was the son of gods. And worshipped in around the 1st century BC. So it only preceded the Jesus story by about a century or so.
He was continuously worshipped until the 2nd century.
Oh, so it overlapped 200. Into Christianity even. Interesting.
Right?
Or at least the early forms of Christianity.
When Christ was born, or
this
what the
story,
fuck ever.
This story about Nebuchadnezzar had to have been very prescient in the whole, beginnings of the Christian movement.
Yes.
Like, that had to be an impetus almost, maybe. Maybe not entirely, but like that story was there,
It had to be involved. Well, yeah, because here's another thing. So we're talking about Nabu, the son of Marduk.
Right.
So Marduk and his side piece, they were actually worshipped in Babylon's sister city. And I did not write down the name of this sister city, but it was like Belish or Babelish.
Okay.
Or something.
Bubblicious.
We'll call it Bubblicious.
Sure.
Okay. And so they had giant statues of Marduk and his side chick. Okay.
Sure.
In Bubblicious.
Got it.
And every year they would bring the statues into Babylon to worship them during that one time period. And then they would, take them back to the sister city.
Got it.
So, I mean, this was like an active practice.
Right.
So, then when Nabu was related as his son, I imagine that they were still worshiping his father for them to have a reason to worship the son. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we've got the father and the son already happening.
Yeah.
And very, very actively being worshipped. Like, moving these statues from one city to another was no easy feat because these things were fucking giant.
Right.
That brings me to my final point, which is that there is a colossal statue of the god Nabu dated from the 8th century BC from Nimrud on display in the National Museum of Iraq.
No shit.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah, the 8th century BC.
Huh.
Yeah. So
that's really cool.
That means that they were worshiping this guy for a really fucking long time.
Right.
If they were still worshiping him into the 2nd century BC.
Right. And these
80.
cultures and religions definitely overlapped with, Judaism.
Yeah.
And even Christianity, just on the edges of it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah. No,
the time period alone.
And that's what I'll like. I don't think I could ever learn enough about the time periods and where these gods, resided, the stories about them, and how they all intermingle with all these other stories and myths.
This makes me really want to learn more geography. Like, I've never wanted to understand geography more than studying all this stuff to see how all of the different countries and cities and just the different name places, whatever we're calling them, how they all fit together.
And especially because the world that we're talking about is so much smaller than the entire planet, like it's such a small, like you're almost talking about like a fantasy map from like, Lord of the Rings or something, like which mountain range did this one happen in and which forest was that? And, like it's very fantasy. Like the whole idea of this whole thing seems very much like a fantasy book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that's part of why I find it interesting too.
Sure.
But you said that was the last thing you had there?
That was my final point, yes.
All right. Well, I'm thoroughly enjoyed learning more about those gods. So I hope you guys did too. And I will be we'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow's Sunday, so we'll be back with
Patreon.
And then I'll get the weekly wrap out, and then we'll be back on Monday with
48. 48.
Yeah, Isaiah chapter 48.
I was trying to pull up the other window.
I thought wife might have been prepared, but she wasn't. So
well, I didn't know you were going to ask me that.
I ask you literally at the end of every weekend episode.
And am I ever prepared?
Actually, I ask you at the end of every single episode.
So, but am I ever prepared?
You are very rarely prepared.
So who is the bigger problem here? Me, who's never prepared, or you, who doesn't learn and act accordingly? That your wife will probably not be prepared.
Yahweh for not existing and not telling me what to do.
Facts.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do better in the coming new year. # goals.
All right. That was our podcast for today. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe, leave an Apple review, join us on Twitter, support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.